Day three was the day, okay? Day three started out with, of course, the mountains. And let me tell you, that day, day three, I hit level two. And after I climbed up level one, I had done the whole type of, my morning routine, went to the fire for a little bit, then hit the mountains. And it was just like, hit level one, and level one was feeling good, and I looked at level two. Now, level two was the adventurers route. Level two was pure cliff, homies. Level two was like, yo, come up here, you'll make it. Are you strong enough to climb the mountain? And I'm just like, damn right. And I go, and as I'm climbing this mountain, every little bit of fear that tries to creep in, I vanquish from my mind, from my heart, because I know no matter what, I'm gonna make it to the top of this mountain. And so, when I make it to the top of this mountain, I have to get my victory howl of just like, ah! I felt my ancestors just pushing me to go, to never give up. And the energy, man, the energy at the top was just nice, And what makes that, what really, is the process, the whole how things happen. It's not always about just getting to the top. It's the things you go through on the way up. And it's like, when we talk about our mind and the connection, it's just like, whoa, the energy is intense. And so when I get to the top, it's just nice, man. It's just nice. I can just tap in, do some meditation and tap in. Show the gratitude to ancestors. Thank you. And then I climb on down the mountain. And let me tell you, day three had a lot going on today. So there was like a wedding ceremony, and we had a closing ceremony, and it was just whoa. So, I climbed down the mountain, and I'm like, oh, it's time to do some service. And so I make my way over to the free kitchen this time. And, well, before I hit up the free kitchen, do a little gate work at the gate, just saying, hey, people, doing that whole shebang. Then hit up the free kitchen, do some work at the free kitchen. Because you know what? Why not? Why not? And it was awesome. And, it was like, when we serve each other, man, when we really serve and help each other out, it just feels good, And they had me up there just preparing food, doing dishes. I'm the type of man, I'll do any job. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of guy, I'll do the job nobody else wants to do. You know what? Because at the end of the day, things have to be done. And when you're one of the people who is willing to do the things most people ain't willing to do, there's a type of honor in it. Anyways, so we're just doing the things, having fun, and it's just cleaning, cooking, again, talking with each other, connecting, and just, man, the vibe, the amount of people, these people are just some seriously awesome people, and they're just so kind, and from the kindness of the heart, it was just watching, their own story, and their own journey, and seeing how they're doing this, and it was just like, whoa, bros, vibing with people, like, for real. And then it was time to serve. And luckily I've had experience serving. So when it was serving time, we know how to properly make sure at least that everybody gets fed. Alright. And then when it's time for seconds, then we talk about, giving bigger portion sizes. But until then, we manage it accordingly. Okay. Anyways. So, I'm first server up. And it's very, at first it's a little stressful trying to get into the whole cycle of it, I got people kind of calling me from a couple different directions. We're kind of doing some last minute setting up. But you know what? Once we get that flow going, it's like ba bing, ba boom. And there we go. We're serving away. And just providing that good, high vibing brother, man, sister. Yo, we got some delicious food for y'all. What would you like? You know what I'm saying? Being cool, being homies, being an example, being like, yo, it's great to be here. Okay? And this was the time right after the wedding. So unfortunately, I missed most of the wedding. But let me tell you, the glimpse of this wedding was just, man, what I seen from this wedding was just so beautiful. It was just so multicultural type of beautiful. It was like, wow. And I only got to see a little bit, a tiny glimpse, and I'm just so grateful for that. And so after serving in the wedding, it's time to get everything ready for the closing ceremony, man. And let me just tell you, the closing ceremony, bros, was like, wow. It was truly incredible. It started off with a story, a very intense story about the corn, the story of the corn. And it was about how you must plant your seeds, man. You gotta plant your seeds and you gotta cultivate them into being strong plants, into being what you want them to be healthy, to be fulfilled dreams. Because these seeds are your dreams, they're your hopes, your ambitions. And you must cultivate them. You must tend to them wisely. If you plant too many seeds and you don't pay attention to all of them, and you let certain things fall to the wayside, pick your seeds and make them strong, man. You know what I'm saying? Get your goals focused, narrow them down, and grow strong. Grow your seeds strong. Grow your ambition strong. And this story was just so awesome. You know, it was all about the seasons, how each season's a different phase of life and how we must act accordingly. And it was just a beautiful way to start this ceremony. And, it really showed the change of time, how times are changing. And the message I received from the mountain earlier was like the winds of change when I took this net. Because let me tell you, I hit the mountain one more time. I don't know if I said this, but in between there, I had hit the mountains again. And I just got a message of the winds of change. And man, there's just so much synchronicity. When you hear something and you feel it inside yourself and you feel like you just receive the messages and it all correlates. It's just like, wow. So this story was just so awesome. And so after this story, man, it was like I had the opportunity to dig a hole for the tree, man. The beautiful tree that we're planting. So I'm just like, hell yeah, they need the man with the muscles. That's why you train yourself so you can be freaking useful, okay? And so I'm just digging this hole happy as a mofo. I'm just like, thank you for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this, you know. And so and so it was just like, wow. So after I dig this hole, it's like part two of the ceremony has started. So I squeeze up in there. And let me tell you, part two of the ceremony was incredible. Hearing how the elders talked and just seeing, this ritual of how they do things and they're sharing it with us. And just feeling the gratitude, the connection to the earth, and just showing that this is the moment of change. This is the moment we step into a glorious, beautiful future where we bring the light, we bring the beauty. And it was just like, amazing. I even had the opportunity of having the smoke man. I'm gonna call him the smoke guy. Smoke guy was just the man with the different herbs. He had so much concoction, man. He had different smoking blends. He not only did he purify, man. He was like not only cleansing and purifying, man. I swear, this man like put barriers. I don't know. He knew, the wisdom he held was so impressive. And just he did a little ceremony with me inside the ceremony. It was just like, whoa, it was intense. I had to hold the hard charcoal for a little bit. It was like, woof. But you know what? It was like powerful. It was so powerful. And just, man, after that ceremony, it was fresh. It was a whole new beginning. I felt like I had dropped 40 pounds of darkness. It's like, whoa. This is it. This is the time that we do this. We come together. We save the world. And I was just so grateful to all the elders, to everybody who participated, to for all that knowledge and wisdom. It was truly incredible. And so after this ceremony, it was just, it was like just, whew, man, I was like in daze. I was just enjoying the weightlessness I felt, man. And I found myself attracted to the sacred fire. And when I arrived upon the sacred fire, there happened to be a whole nother ceremony. And this ceremony was just speaking just who you are and what you're here to do, you know. And it was just so powerful. Because you know what, of course, we're here to kick down the doors of BS and bring a beautiful future for everybody. And to know that our goals, our focus, it just drives a fiery passion that is unlike anything else. You know, when we talk about reaching the higher potentials of humanity, this is it. Is learning to have the right goals, is learning to have the right focus, the right moral compass to guide. We all have it inside of us already. Is learning to listen, is learning to cultivate it, is learning to grow yourself, your body, your mind, your emotions, your energies, man. And so, before day 3 ended, it was just amazing. But, you know, White Wolf got a little sweet-tongued girl and had to learn a little lesson. You know. Had to grow. And this is the thing, learning, you know, I'm just so grateful. You know, as a man, we treat women with respect. We treat them as gentlemen. You know, we are gentlemen. And, you know, we treat them with respect. But we also treat ourselves right. We walk with honor. And we don't fall to our primitive, primal impulses. We learn to grow stronger and to hold our heads up, to hold good conversation, to be just respectful, to be nice just because you feel like being nice. You know. And my thing is, I'm a man. You know, once I start getting the vibes that it just ain't feeling me, I walk away, man. You know, that's me. I ain't go worry myself. I ain't go stress myself. I won't keep my mental focus strong. You know what I mean? I am a gentleman. I'll be respectful. But I would not fall trap. I would not fall to a whole type of mental game. And so thus, the night ended quite nicely, quite beautifully. I had so much I had learned, so much I had dropped and let go of. It just felt amazing. And so that ended day 3. White Wolf was like, whoo, it was just that time. So I woke up that morning and, you know, packed up all my stuff, and I've been asking people the last couple of days for a ride, and wasn't getting too much luck. You know, the homie Yes, who had taken me down there, he was on his own journey. And we had linked up that morning, and we had asked one of our friends, one of our good acquaintances, and they were real nice people. But, you know, definitely a situation where they could give me a ride back. And on my way back to my stuff, I just happened to run into this really cool gentleman. I'm gonna call him the homie M. And man, this dude was just a straight up cool dude. Now, he could take me back home, but he was heading up towards good old Colorado. And I wasn't too sure exactly where he was heading to in Colorado, but he was saying how he was heading north. And I just believed that I needed just to get up there, and I would make it no matter what. And I was just on a mission, When the divine opens a door for you, you go through it. And I was just like, okay. So, homie was super cool, and I ended up, able to get a ride from him. And so, I went back, grabbed my stuff, said goodbye to a couple people, and hopped in the car with the homie M. I had $20 left. And it was like, yo, thank you. Thank you for just giving me a ride as far as, you were able to give me. I really appreciate that. And so, the homie M was out the kindness and lovingness of his heart. Let me hop on in, and thus began the adventure back home. Now, it was a very interesting experience. Homie M was like super cool, man. I love meeting different people and just being able to hear their experiences. And just like, wow. Homie M is a real businessman. He's a real go-getter. He's fighting to protect the water. And I'm like, hell yeah, homie. Hell yeah. And so he just kind of drove me around. He had to run a couple errands, and so I just kind of rode with him on his way to some errands. And it was just like, wow. The experience, man, was crazy. Like, I'm just across the New Mexico landscape, and it's just gorgeous. Me and this dude just chopping it up, and he's just a real cool dude talking about his life. I'm talking about my life a little bit, and it's like, whoa. Respect. And one thing, though, that I do know, and I had to bring this up because I feel this is going to be a repeat incident. When we talk about as men, one of the most dangerous things we got to watch out for as men is the police and getting any type of anything on your record. Because, man, once you get a record, it's hard, way harder. It is crazy how unforgiving this system is. And just, I bring that up because this man was just so cool, man. He even bought me food. He drove me all the way up there. He let me run some errands, and it was just like, wow. It was magical the whole way. Okay. Like, whoa. It was like, whoa. It was like just the countryside alone. It was just like, wow, how is this happening? And so then he ends up dropping me off at Pagosa Springs. And I'm just like, thank you, homie. Thank you. Man, we, exchange contacts. And I feel like me and the homie M are going to really hit it off later in the future. Because you know what? We all have dreams, and we all got a part to play in this big old grand scheme of saving the world, homies. And it's like, we got each other. So, I got dropped off at good old Pagosa Springs. So here I am up in good old Pagosa Springs. And, I'm just a man. I got my whole bag. And let me tell you, I got a whole get up. Because, we're out here saving the world. So, of course, I got a superhero cape on, homies. Like, I'm glistening white. I got my white cape. Got my big old bag. Kind of looking homeless. I'm looking like a man out here ready to sleep outside. And so, first place I hit up is the library. Because knowledge is power. Okay. And so I tried to do some research. And upon doing research, I realized that, that there's no system to get in or out. Rings. That's not a taxi. or a car. And I was just like, oh, so he's either walk or, I'm starting to think of how to get a hustle of a bike. And so, that was definitely starting to be the plan. But anyways, there was really no way out of there besides hoofing it one way or the other. And I'm just like, whoa, all right. So after doing some research there and realizing there's no way to use some transportation, I'm like, okay, I need to just kind of rest up. Because, running out of time, before the sun goes down, and, don't want to just be outside without knowing where I'm going to sleep for the night, where I'm going to lay down, or how I'm going to start hoofing it, or what's going to happen. So I started looking up some churches, and I'm like, that's definitely the places that I'm going to think will help me out first, is the churches. And so before I go to the church, there's this magical spring. This spring, they have hot spring, and it has like a whole public thing. So I look up the church and look up the hot spring, and the hot spring, is super close by. So of course I'm gonna go to the hot spring first, especially because there's a public section, and I'm just like, I haven't taken a bath or shower in like 3 days, and so I'm pretty like, whoo, I ain't smelling the best right now. And so I'm making my way down to the hot spring. And this hot spring is just like, whoa. It's awesome. It's like, it's beautiful. And so I just, strip down to some shorts, and I'm just like kind of washing myself off and just enjoying the magicness of the hot spring, of the sunlight, of the moments of the day, of just trusting that I'm here for a reason. And so just start zenning out a little bit, paying respects, saying thank you, water. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for this gift of life. Thank you for letting me cleanse myself. Thank you, water, for so many things. And so, after giving my gratitude and cleansing myself off a little bit, I just, dress back up and put on all my clothes and start making my way down to this church. And let me tell you, as before I start walking over there is a huge mansion. Or not mansion, but like a spa. A huge, incredibly large spa. And it's like, whoa. And it has like a whole chessboard, like a huge chessboard out front. I wanted to go look at it so close up. I wanted to so bad. But I was totally scared that I would get arrested. And so, I looked at it from afar, but it was still majestic and glorious looking. I was like, wow, very impressed. I was very impressed. And so as I make my way to the church, this gentleman pulls over. This elderly gentleman. And I'm calling him the Gentleman W. Okay. And so, Gentleman W is like kind of one of those older Caucasian males, and he's got one of those beat up kind of trucks, but he's a cool dude, he really kind of laid back, he's one of those dudes that has seen some in life, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, oh, okay, no, thank you so much. And he's just a cool dude, so I hop on in his truck, and he brings me back to his house where he lets me sleep, where he lets me spend the night, and I'm just like so grateful. I'm like, thank you so much, Gentleman W, for letting me spend the night at your house. It was just like, wow. Now, my experience in Gentleman W's house, he was a very interested man, he was very interested. The only thing about him, the biggest repeat thing that, lesson we talked about, is like, as young men, we have to understand that when it comes to the law and the court system, it is not our ally. And that is my message from this man. Was so kind, but he was dealt a very harsh hand at a very early age for a very unfair reason. And it is like when you're a man, you know, it's a lot harder for you. And not many people, and it's harder sometimes. All right. Definitely the message though, young men, be careful out there. And do not be, just be careful out there in all situations. And so Joseph NW was just, he was talking about his life, and he was just a really cool dude. He was a really cool dude. He kind of talked a lot about prison because he spent a long time in prison. He did a huge amount of years. And just, his way of life was just different. It was definitely more of an old schooler vibe. But he was super cool. And I definitely was interested because, you know what, he gave me some ice cream and he played some music that was like super old school, but super hot. It was like, whoa, I don't even know, man. He was super cool. And so he ended up falling asleep, and I ended up falling asleep on the couch, and it was just a cool night. And so that ends, I guess, technically day 4